In this episode, you're going to learn the definitions and differences of using pace versus heart rate versus perceived rate of exertion, aka PRE or RPE. My special 3-part triangular framework to analyze your hard workouts or race data by using effort, power, and intelligence. Stay tuned for that. It's pretty good. I'm very proud of myself for that and a bunch more. Let's get into it.
Are you a pace, power, effort, heart rate? Which method are you training by?
So let's just define them really quick. Pace is obviously how fast you're going, minutes per mile or minutes per kilometer. That would also be speed if you're riding. Heart rate, that's an easy one. So that's how many beats per minute your heart is beating with a heart rate monitor strap. Straps are way better than the wrist optical. The wrist optical is not accurate once you start basically running at a decent pace. I like to say that it's only good for the bedroom or walking or sitting. That's the only time that optical is accurate, or sleeping.
Yes,
sorry, that's why I say the bedroom. And then perceived effort. And that is literally the scale. There's the board.
How you feel. Your RPE, right?
RPE, 1 through 10 scale. 10 is you're almost dying, and 1 is you're sitting on the couch watching TV. So that would be that. And we'll go to this special 4th one that makes it even more messier. All right, so this is that like 3rd point that I was talking about, which is like the 4th variable here. And that is power. And a lot of you runners probably don't even care about a power meter. It's not really, has been a thing yet. It's slowly getting a bit of traction.
It's getting there.
It's getting there. I know a lot of cyclists have power. Swimming does not have a power component, I don't think, yet. I'm sure someone's tried to come up with one. Even like lifting weights is really, it's just the weight you're lifting. There's no power component about the resistance. But back to running for power. I talked about my fun 5K story. But actually, I just did a race, City to Surf, which is you running from the middle of the city, Sydney, Australia, all the way to the beach, Bondi Beach. Beautiful run, but there's so many damn hills. And because of the hills, I really have to focus on my effort, perceived effort. But hills are wild because what feels like a 5 out of 10, let's say you're cruising at a 7 out of 10 effort on the flats. And then you're like, I'm going to do a 5 out of 10 on the hills. I look down at my power spikes up. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, for me to keep an even amount of power, I feel like I have to almost walk and do this really slow run. But the ironic thing is when I stretch out these hill runs, so this hill, there's a lot of really steep hills and long hills. And there's about, it takes me 8 minutes to run up it. It's about a mile hill. Like, it's a mile uphill. And there's some nasty steep.
That's a big hill, dude.
And it's effed up because it turns. And you can't see it. So you're like, oh, this is what? There's more hill. Oh, there's the end of what? There's more hill. So it keeps doing that for almost 8 minutes for me. It's bananas, yo. But what I found out, I start at what feels like the effort, subjective effort of a 5 out of 10 up the hill. I'm 4 minutes in and my power would spike up to, 370 watts. So I was trying to hold 330 watts up the hill, right? And I was like, my power spiked up to 370 watts in the first minute. And I'm like, wow, it's really hot. It's 40 watts more than I want to be doing. Let me back it down. So then I look down halfway through and I'm at 320 watts. And I'm like, what? And then I even it out, it's 330. And I'm like, that felt like a 5 out of 10. But it actually was a proper 330 watt. But the hills, it's just so crazy. And then downhill's even more crazy. Trying to hold power downhill, running, you got to go real fast to hold that power.
You got to give it some more. That's right.
And it's really uncomfortable. Whereas if I didn't have that power meter, I'm like, I think I'm going at a 7 out of 10 downhill. It's like, nah, the power's saying I'm going at a 3 out of 10. My power drops down to 280 watts. So I found out that there's this triangle, I call it the trifecta, I guess, of how you should interpret your data. And the triangle is, and I just came up with this actually during the race yesterday, I was thinking, which is not good. It's not good that I was thinking about, I got this cool idea for, a framework.
Where was your mind at while you were putting
I know. The minute I did that, I said, I am not being present. You're right here in the pain. Stop thinking about the future, man. So excuse my language. So the trifecta is it's effort / power. And I give myself a ranking 1 out of 10. So yesterday I did a 9 out of 10 effort power. I actually hit my power number. And then it's intelligence down here. And it's how smart I ran the race based on my strategy and based on my effort. And I said it was a 10 out of 10 intelligence because I did something interesting. And then I went over here and was like output. And output, so that's the triangle there, and the third variable. And output is technically not variable, but output is what happened. What was my time? What was my pace? So many times we as runners and triathletes and people when we race, we go, got to hold that pace. Oh, I didn't get my time that I wanted. So many things affect your time. The heat,
100%.
the hills, how tired you are, caffeine levels. If you're doing heart rate and your caffeine is shot up or you're just excited, you can't go on caffeine. My heart rate is always 10 beats higher on a race, even though I'm going at the same effort that I was doing in training. So all these things I realized when you put those three together, that then becomes a much better way to take your data and analyze it post-race. And it's actually, it like just takes the pressure off of you. So it's like, you just, I know I went as hard as I could. The data validated it based on my power. And the intelligence, I raced smart because I was about 33% in and I said,
no, 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 hell no, no.
I don't feel good. And I said, you could keep going at this stupid pace because I was trying to hit a pace in my head so I could hit a certain time and run my best time. And I said, and you could ruin this whole race and it's going to hurt, or you could be smart and back it down and look at your power, bro, and chill out. And I said, back it down. And I backed it down. And that's when I was like, that only comes with experience. And that only comes with intelligence. That only comes with me understanding my data. So I guess, again, this whole thing was about data. And I'm going to end it there. You got any more thoughts on this? Because that was a lot.
Well, yeah, because, you talked about the thing that really stood out, and I talked about training by heart rate and looking at, your power spiked and you had to back down, which is the exact same thing that happens with heart rate. You're going too hot, that will spike and you may need to back it down because you've only got so many matches to burn and so many efforts and you can only sustain for so long. Obviously, there's a difference between how immediately one will spike and drop versus the other. And I feel like the takeaway is in that triangle, that's really good takeaways for being in the moment, but it's unpacking all of that data and making it more useful. So I can't go into an interval session knowing that the power has to spike, the heart rate has to spike for the pace to go up. Well, that's just what's going to happen. So I can't look at my heart rate then. I'm going to analyze it afterwards versus a different session. I'll prioritize this metric and then look at this one afterwards to see how and get that relationship. But the experience is when you can start to feel that, if my pace is this, what's my power doing? If I'm going up this hill, then what's my heart rate doing relative to my power? And it's never a one versus the other. They all kind of work in conjunction, but just pick which one you're going to focus on for this session and break it down from there. But you've already hit all of that. Congratulations on the effort, man. And we've gone this many episodes and I haven't even touched on it. Y'all got to check out Darren's YouTube channel. Y'all, we'll link it right down here. We'll blast it on all of these. He's doing some recaps and newsletters and everything that you can normally find on his newsletter is coming to video. You're getting some of the extended stories from his Instagram, race recaps, all in there. Check it out. My dude, thank you so much for taking the time to do this with me. And please do not forget to let us know down in the comments any other future topics you want to see covered by myself, by Darren in the next seasons, and which metric do you prioritize?
One last thing, and I meant to say this, and I forgot the person's name who actually wrote this. He said, training by pace is letting the ego take over. Training by heart rate holds is great, but not always accurate unless a reliable chest heart rate monitor without interference. You get interference in heart rate monitors. Tech is useful, but can be a crutch. Like a lot of our creature comforts that I've taken away our natural immunity and instincts that our ancestors needed for survival. The ultimate goal should be to return to effort. It's akin to Kung Fu masters honing their martial arts by form and structure only to realize at the end the ultimate goal is formlessness or nothingness. That's my take on it anyway. Laughing emoji. So I thought that was a great way of summing up this kind of messy area and very woo-woo, very zen. I'll get his name so you could put it in there. But I'm going to end it there. Thanks, everyone. And to the next one. If you want to learn more about this topic, we went into further detail. You should go and check that out right here.